Hello viewers and welcome to Info Gist TV. Group reveals plot against Tinubu. Wow. Professionals and businessmen in the country have alerted of plots by certain unpatriotic persons to distract and weaken the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's led government by mounting coordinated attacks on the office of the Chief of Staff to the President, Honorable Femi Bajabiamala. The group, under the aegis of Forum of Nigerian Professionals in Politics (FNPP), said it has intelligence that those behind the attacks on the person and office of the Chief of Staff are enemies of Tinubu administration, whose aim is to distract the government from actualizing its set objectives and goals. National Coordinator of the Forum, Chief Oke Ezenwa, in a statement in Abuja, stated that the attackers are after the office of the Chief of Staff, knowing the sensitive nature of the office and the persons of the Chief of Staff to the sources of any administration. Information at the disposal of our forum indicates that this plot is the reason for the unwarranted vicious attacks against the Chief of Staff to the President, Right Honorable Femi Bajabiamala, knowing the sensitive nature of the office and the person of the Chief of Staff to the sources of any administration. Also, intelligence available to the forum shows that these elements are not particularly after Femi as a person, but they are sinister forces who from the onset seek the failure of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his administration for their selfish agenda. Ezenwa, former Assistant National Secretary of the Opposition People's Democratic Party (PDP), further alerted that the enemies of Tinubu administration recruited unsuspecting fifth columnists and hatchet writers to fabricate false allegations against the Chief of Staff in order to cause internal disaffections and weaken the administration. Now, being aware of the value the administration will draw from the experience and capacity of a Chief of Staff of the status of an immediate former Speaker of the House of Representatives, the anti-government elements have enlisted unsuspecting individuals and interests as fifth columnists and hatchet writers to discredit the Chief of Staff, with spurious allegations intended to inject bad blood in the presidency and weaken the administration. Our forum has examined the allegations and claims against the Chief of Staff and found all of them to be unfounded fabrications being conjured and put in the public space with the intent to trigger internal disaffection and weaken the Tinubu's administration, given that a strong Chief of Staff is pivotal to the stability and success of the government overall. Those who plot to weaken and derail a government always start with vicious attacks on the office and person of the Chief of Staff to the President. This is because when a strong Chief of Staff is crippled or caused to be removed, the government itself becomes vulnerable to unpatriotic forces. Eventually distracted and fails, it is instructive to recall that when Chief Mike Ogaidome was removed as the Chief of Staff to the President of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, the government became weakened and vulnerable to political attacks, which largely distracted and affected its performance. In the same vein, the death of Malam Abakiyari, the Chief of Staff to former President Muhammadu Buhari, also marked the beginning of the vulnerability of the Buhari's administration, leading to a weakened power base which eventually crippled his political progress and also led to loss of popularity and apparent performance of failure, the forum stated. Meanwhile, a group of 45 civil society organizations working in various fields of human endeavor in Kano State and beyond have expressed deep concerns with the economic hardship faced by Nigerians, particularly the impact on the underprivileged. The group has asked President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to reverse fuel subsidy removal regime as Nigerians are suffering from extreme poverty and hardship. The group stated that they believe that the recent removal of fuel subsidy is a major contributing factor to the hardship, amongst other multifactorial reasons. And according to the group, since the removal of the fuel subsidies, social unrest, poverty, and inflation have been on the rise aggressively. Living standards of the underprivileged Nigerians, who are the majority, are massively falling. Cost of food, education, and healthcare, which are the necessities of life, are almost unattainable for the average Nigerians. The group, in a statement issued on Saturday, said that the studies have shown that since the removal of fuel subsidies, transportation fares have shot up by over 200%. More families are experiencing unbearable hardship. Children are crying massively because of hunger, and millions of parents weep profusely every day at their children's despair. And according to the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) reports in 2023, inflation for May 2023 increased by 4.70% compared to May 2022. Wow! Additionally, the month-on-month inflation rate for May 2023 was 0.03% higher than in April 2023. On the other hand, the food inflation rate of 24.82% in May rose to 25.25% and 26.98% at the end of June and July, respectively. This trend indicates that the removal of subsidies has contributed massively to a persistent rise in inflation and food rates. And unfortunately, the social cushioning and protection measures by the government more recently have been met with alleged corruption while shortchanging the potential beneficiaries, who ideally are the poor Nigerians. Now, in the light of this, they have urged and urgently called upon President Bola Tinubu to, without delay, return fuel subsidies and also rescind other anti-poor policies within the next 2 weeks. Failing this, the group is prepared to stage a mega protest to voice the collective concerns of the citizens affected by these ill-timed policies. The group also emphasized the importance of policies that prioritize the well-being of Nigerians, especially the most vulnerable amongst us. It maintained that the return of fuel subsidies and the review of anti-poor policies are crucial steps towards alleviating the economic burden on citizens. They therefore urge President Bola Tinubu and the relevant authorities to engage in constructive dialogue and take swift actions to address these pressing issues. The group remains committed to advocating for the right and welfare of the people and will continue to pursue peaceful and impactful means to achieve these objectives, they stated.